I'm running a marathon in 2 days, but this video is not about running. This video is about why do people like myself go through extreme discomfort on purpose, willingly? Why do people choose to go through hell that is going to be completely miserable and painful and just a terrible experience? Because you see, I know 100% that the last 10 kilometers of that run are gonna be exactly what I just described to you. And the reason is because I'm a completely ordinary guy. I don't run that much. I hit the gym. I still eat normally. I'm not on any kind of special diet, so I'm pretty much a very regular guy who just wants to prove to myself that I am able to push through a complete marathon. So why? Maybe you can learn something from somebody like me. If you can relate, that would be cool to hear in the comments. But also, if you cannot comprehend why anybody would put themselves through something like that, something that I describe as terrible, well, here is why. The first time I ran a marathon 2 years ago, I was actually punishing myself for my shortcomings. So I had started to run because I was inspired by an anime about running. And then it just became a habit as my co-workers also were running, and a lot of things just happened that made me think that, okay, well, I think I'm gonna keep running every week because why not? It's good for health, etc. And I wanna be, stronger. I wanna be physically more fit because I can't be a professional power lifter or professional strongman or anything like that. I can't be particularly strong because my genetics are not good like that. I'm not a very big dude. I'm a very average dude. But I was always fighting my demons. I was always struggling with identity, who I want to be, what I want to do in life. I've always procrastinated on everything I've wanted to achieve. I've always felt like I'm not enough. There were all kinds of things in my 20s that I struggled with and I was fighting in my head. So I needed these outlets, such as going to the gym, lifting heavy weights, and then eventually running. And running became this very kind of easy way for myself to push myself, because you can always run more. You can always run further distances or faster or whatever it may be. Your limit is not reached as quickly as in the gym, because in the gym you will rather quickly reach the point where you can't lift any more weight. It's physically impossible for you. And so running became this way of pushing myself and also punishing myself. So let's say, for example, I would spend multiple hours in a day consuming pornography because I had a problem with watching too much pornography. I would feel bad about myself and I would go run. And I would tell myself that, okay, I am going to run further this time or faster this time because otherwise I am a piece of shit. So it is a very sort of unhealthy place where my running started. And that's why the first marathon, I was training very hard for that, and it was a little bit easier, but it was still, exhausting, obviously. And then last year I didn't train much at all, to be honest, because I kind of went to the other end. I was like, well, I don't need to push myself anymore so hard because I've gotten things under control and I found love and all these things, and I was becoming softer. And so the marathon was a disaster last year, but getting to the point of going through discomfort, last year, as I was running the last half of the marathon, and my muscles were cramping and everything, and it was just terrible. I remember I was genuinely thinking, why am I doing this? I started to get those questions in my head of, who cares? Why do you care? Why should you keep going? Why don't you just stop? Should you just walk, or should you just give up and, not finish the marathon? And somehow, as I was going through those feelings and emotions and thoughts in my head, I nevertheless was able to find I was able to tap into something deeper within myself, and I was able to tell myself that, you know what, I am not a quitter. Even though this is very literally painful as my muscles are cramping, and it just sucks, it genuinely sucked. I was seriously thinking about giving up. But in that moment, I was able to somehow find my identity, which is somebody who ultimately doesn't give up. Even if things take time, even if things are difficult, I don't give up. And that was so awesome to find about myself. It made me so proud and happy to find that part of myself. And I was able to find that part of myself while I was going through extreme discomfort. And that's why when I finished that marathon, although I did have to walk some parts of it because I was cramping all the time, I decided I'm gonna do this every year. And now it's only 2 days until the next marathon that I'm running, and I know 100% surely that it's gonna suck. At least the last 10 kilometers is gonna be terrible. Hopefully I'm not gonna be cramping, so it's only gonna be me feeling exhausted, tired, thirsty, hungry, painful in the muscles, even if it's not cramping. And I'm gonna feel like, why am I here? And I'm gonna question everything again in my head because I'm going to go through such terrible discomfort. But then I'm going to find, it's like I'm meeting that version of myself in my head. And it's so awesome. I don't know, maybe it doesn't make sense. It's the best way I can put it is, it's like I go through my ordinary life, I'm paying my bills, I'm doing my job, and everything is just, flat. It's not like I'm doing some kind of business and I keep having these big spikes of success. So this once a year opportunity to go through that extreme discomfort, it brings out something from within me that I don't see in the ordinary life. Even though I struggle, sometimes in the middle of the week, I think about how I would like to do more, and I know that I should take action and I should work harder on this YouTube channel, or I should start some other side hustle, whatever it may be. That can make me feel stressed and anxious and even a little bit depressed in the moment. And I can't tap into that inner self. I can't find that version of me who's full of confidence and who is going to push through everything and anything and is never giving up. But when I go to this event where I go through this horrible experience and I show myself what I'm capable of, that is when I meet that version of myself, the best version of myself, the version of myself who, despite everything, whispers in my ear, keep running, keep moving those legs. You don't give up, you never give up. No matter what happens, you don't give up. There's no excuse to start walking. You just keep running all the way until the finish line. And after that, when I'm done, and I meet my friends at the finish line and my girlfriend at the finish line, the whole rest of the day, I'm just recovering and feeling like crap for the next couple of hours. And then that thought, that experience, it carries me through the next year. I remember that. I have that affirmation for myself. If I feel like crap, if I feel like I can't achieve something or do something, I doubt myself, I have that memory. I have that proof that at least in something, at least when it comes to this very simple physical challenge of just running for a long time, for a long distance, I know I never give up. And then I apply that to other things, like this YouTube thing, which, goes up and down, up and down. Motivation for people always go up and down. Right now, for example, I don't have motivation this week to make these videos, but then I remember, oh yeah, I don't give up. So I'm gonna keep grinding. And I hope that made any sense. let everyone know in the comments if you can relate, or if you feel like that's, not relatable and you just rather, I don't know, stay in bed and eat potato chips and feel comfortable. I don't know, some people, most of my friends and my family, they don't do shit like this. So sometimes I think, is there something wrong with me? Why do I have to push myself so much when other people settle just feeling and seeking comfort? Anyway, remember to subscribe if you find this interesting, and I have to always ask for leaving a like for the videos because the algorithm loves that. So thank you for watching this anyway. That's the most important thing, and I will see you in the next one.